the reason why I joined JCI is for like professional network and try to get to know more people as well. Like, I'm not sure that like what is the situation in your country. Encourage the members that you have to step up. You have to say yes to all the opportunities. That when your president asks you to do anything, you just say yes because they're not going to kill you. I would say it's hot pot. To like if JCI is a food, then I would say hot pot will be like presenting what JCI really is really well. Is because
she was hailed as the most outstanding national president top 3 finalist during the 2021 JCI World Congress. And the national program entitled Connecting Opportunities that she led won the Best National Growth and Development Project, also during the 2001 JCI World Congress. With warm hearts, everyone, let's welcome the 2021 JCI Ireland National President and a 2022 JCI European Development Counselor, Carol Ho. A round of applause, please.
Hello. Good morning, everyone from Ireland.
Good morning. It's 3 p.m. here in the Philippines. I'm not sure. I think it's 8 a.m. there.
Yeah, but I would say that like luckily like Katina is really good because like I was we set I set the Google the Google Canada on my on my phone, so I thought that is probably is around lunchtime, and then luckily she called me in the morning, and then she was like, yes. So right now it's the morning time, 8 a.m. and it's Sunday. So last night we went outside. I think I went to bed like around maybe around like 2 a.m. in the morning. But anyway, like I don't need to have loads of sleep, so that's why I'm okay. But like thanks for the morning call.
Yeah.
And I made it on time.
Yes. Have you had your coffee already?
Yes, it's right here. So
oh, perfect. I know it's
I'm all good.
Kind of 9 to 10-ish degrees Celsius in there. So, and it's a Sunday. It's a perfect day to be on bed.
That's all good because like I was actually like a little bit worried. I was like, it's not the Irish time. Like we're going to having this session with the members from Asia, and then like because I was from JCI Hong Kong, and most of the events we all started on time, and I was like, we start like. Katina was saying that we're gonna start like around like 10 minutes later, after the original time. I was like, okay, that's good. I'm super happy. So
I'm kind of nervous right now because I'm awestruck. I've been starstruck with you. I've been attending JCI Europe events for most of the time, and if ever oh my god, I'm a fan.
Yes, so yeah, I do think that it's like a different culture, like how we organize the events. Like in Europe, we are more like casual. Like of course we try to start on time, but we know that some of the members may not make it, like to the call on time. So usually we start a little bit later. Like you turn up to most of our calls, like we organize from like Galway or even like some other European event. So yeah, it's really good. Like first of all, thanks for the invitation from Katina and JCI Medan, like for inviting me to this event because like I turn up and I usually I turn up to the event when some of the JCI members invited me, no matter what time zone like they are at. But like I do miss sometimes I talk to some of the Asian members because like I'm right now in different time zones, so sometimes it's kind of like difficult for us to try to support each other because like yourself you probably need to stay up late for some of our events in Europe, but right now just like myself I need to stay up early on Sunday morning just try to support you guys. So looking forward to the chat today with all of you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, NP. And before we proceed, I would like to encourage everyone to be participative and to throw your questions in the chat box anytime. We'll read your questions. Okay, shall we start?
Sure.
Let's see. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have 6 questions and you have to choose a number. So which one would
we start from 1 first.
First question. Okay, the first question is, since when and why did you join JCI?
Yeah, that's a good starting question. So I think before we jump in, I will give you guys some like brief intro because I believe a lot of the members here like I only know Prince and also Katini. I don't really know a lot of you guys
Awesome.
here. So like, because we only have like around 18 people in the room, so feel free to like pop in a message in the Zoom chat and let everyone know like, who are you? At least I want to get to know you guys as well. I think it's really good that we're all in the Zoom call today, even though on a Sunday afternoon in your time. But I think it's a really good opportunity for all of us to get to know each other. And also, especially myself, I like, if you have any other questions after this call and you want me to help you out with anything in JCI, so I know who I'm talking to. So like, feel free to pop in your like who you are in the message in the Zoom chat box. Quick intro of myself. So my name is Carol, and right now I'm the National Immediate Past President of JCI Ireland. So last year I was the National President of JCI Ireland, and I'm also on the JCI European Development Council this year as one of the counselor. So with the portfolio of impact and promotion, from JCI Europe team. So I joined JCI in 2014. When I was still in Hong Kong, so I joined JCI Hong Kong first, and then after that, in a few years, and I was a local president in JCI Hong Kong in one of the local chapters, and then after that, I moved to Ireland a few years ago in 2017 in December, and then that's where I am at the moment. But the reason why I joined JCI in the very beginning, I would say like 2014, I was in my mid-20s. You know what age I am right now. But like I graduated from college at that time, and then started to work, and I was like looking for some kind of like professional network for young people. So I started to, like Google what are the groups out there. So and then I found JCI Hong Kong on Google. So no one told me about JCI. It's not like a lot of members, like some of your friends invited you to some of the opening events, and then, oh, do you want to come along to get to know what JCI really is? Like, no one told me about it. I found JCI myself, basically. So I was like, oh, okay. So I saw that on the website, like they look like professional or decent people, and then I was like, okay, so that's a button on the website, and then okay, join us, or like put your name down, and then some of the membership officer will reach out to you to tell you what is the next step. So and then I put my email down, I put my name down, and then a few days later, I got one of the national membership officer at that time reached out to me and said, hey, Carol, we have a prospective orientation for new members. Do you want to come along? So I turned up to that orientation event for new members, and then I cannot remember like who was the speaker at that time, because it was a long time ago. It was in 2014, and then I was like, oh, okay, it sounds interesting, because they talk about a lot on development opportunities for young people, the projects related to the UN, like all the goals at that time, and then some of the community projects. I was it sounds really interesting, because I was studying political science when I was in college, so I'm really into like serving the community to see how I can do better, to try to get more opportunities for myself in the professional ways. So I was like, okay. And also at the same time, like when you're in the orientation, you have loads of members from different chapters, try to grab the new members, to join the chapters. So I was like, I basically I was like talking to loads of other like current JSAM members over there. I was like, okay, so they sound like nice people. So I put my money down. I signed up to join JSA East Kowloon at that time. So it was like one of the chapters in JSA Hong Kong. So I started my JSA journey at that kind of like situation. And then so basically like the reason why I joined JSA is for like professional network and try to get to know more people as well. Like, I'm not sure that like what is the situation in your country, but I would say like in Hong Kong, after you graduate from college, and the social cycle that you have probably is your coworker, or maybe like some of the friends from the college time, and then you pretty much like you go to work, and then you finish work and nothing else you want to do, like you don't want to hang out every day after work, right? So you try to like look for something meaningful or something like something really like good to you to try to develop yourself, like in your spare time after working hours. So like that was a reason why I signed up at that time. I was like, it is not it is not expensive for the membership fee anyway. So I signed up, and then I started to be super active, like as a JSA new member. So that's how I start. That's the answer for the first question.
I can see that you were the 2015 most outstanding officer of JCI
Yes.
Medan. Would you like to share something about that?
So so I joined in 2014, right, as I just mentioned, and then after that, because at that time my chapter in Hong Kong was not a big chapter, like I would say that like JSI Bohemia, they have more members, at that time, like, I don't have one of the members here, but at that time it was a struggling chapters. That is the reason why the national board, they try to help the struggling chapters out. So when they have like new members from the national, they will try to give give the new members to those struggling chapters just to help them out, to get more members in. So and then after I joined JCI Kowloon, and everyone was like, "Oh, Carol, you're so great. Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that?" And then so I got, like I got the board, right, left, and center, and I was assigned to do so many tasks. And then because at that time when I joined, they were actually started to like form the new board for next year. So even though I was a pretty new member at that time, and they were like, "Oh, Carol, do you want to join the board?" And we actually like looking for someone to do the membership, like recruitment, and try to like get new members in. And you are like good at talking, you are good at like getting new people at promotion, and do you want to just join the board? I was like, I was pretty new. I was not even like in the house for a year. What do you want me to do? So actually at that time, the president, at in the upcoming year in 2015, in JSI Kowloon, she's really, really good. And like still, until now, we're still very good friends. And even though right now I'm in order now, and we still like talking to each other all the time. And she was actually the one to inspire me, to be active, to get the most out of this organization. So she was like, "Oh, like you in the door now, and you have to really like step up and do more." So I was actually encouraged by her to join the board, as to start as the officer role. So it's like officer role is like the super low level, on the board. At that time, I didn't want to take up too much responsibility, as a new member. You don't want to fuck things up, at that time as a newbie. And she was like, "Okay, don't worry about it. The members here, the board members will support you, and the senators and the past president will help you out." So I joined and the board in 2015 as the membership officer. So basically I was the one to try to plan some of the membership recruitment program to try to get new members in, and also as well as try to organize the membership the orientation events for new members. So that was the starting point, how I know the technique, how to get the members active, engage with them, and try to motivate them to to do JCI stuff. Because like we know ourselves, we don't get paid to do all the work, and you have to get all the motivation to try to encourage the new members, especially why do they have to be active? Why do they need to sign up to this organization? Why do they need to choose your chapters? Like that kind of things. So I started, as a membership officer in my JCI career, the first step. And then, like, of course, the following year, and then 2015, I was an officer in membership affairs. And then after that, and then I was a vice president for membership affairs, because like I in JCI Hong Kong, and then they started some kind of membership recruitment referral programs. So like in less than a year, I was actually the top one in the whole JCI Hong Kong, even though I was a pretty new member. So I got like 20 something members in like a few months, so I like, they have different tiers, to recognize the networker. So I was the pro tier, which is the top one. And for the whole JCI Hong Kong, they only have like another member, also at reach that tier. So myself and also another members for the JCI Hong Kong. So like that, at that time, when I was an officer in membership affairs, I did learn a lot on how to like pitch JCI and how to mobilize the volunteers, because no one get paid. And why you need to really like have the clear message why people need to do it, you know. So like got loads of good and amazing experience back in the days. So and then of course people know that I'm super hardworking, and then so my president just recognized me as the most outstanding officer at that time as a pretty new member. So
I guess we need another session on how to recruit more members
yeah, of course. I did some obsession in Europe before. So because I don't know if you're going to, you know, like covering some of the questions here, but I would say that the mindset is different from the members in Asia and the members in Europe, and I'm in the both camps. So even though like in Hong Kong I was pretty like good at getting members to sign up, I keep them active, like they will listen to me, you know, like try to, you know, like be active in JSA as well. But like in Europe, after I moved to Europe, and I was struggling, you know, for the first year because I needed to, you know, like change the mindset. I need to change a certain way how to present JCI as well, because certain stuff, it works in Hong Kong, it doesn't work in, you know, in Ireland. It doesn't really work in some other countries in Europe as well. So, but I would say that like probably certain stuff that if we merge and try to, you know, like put stuff together, and then it will work in both ways. So yeah, we can have another session.
And you know why I knew the most outstanding officer award? Because I saw your Carl's Beadbook fighting history. I did my research.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the numbers.
Okay.
Before that was what was all inspiring because we, for the most part, we joined JCI because it's a good avenue it's a good break from the normal 9 to 5 p.m. work, right? So it's a good break. So which number would be the next?
We can maybe like maybe 2. We can the second one. Yes.
Okay, number 2. In what condition or project that you think is the most challenging?
I have loads to share. I have loads stories to share with you guys here because, of course, I would say I was super lucky that I start my JSA career in JSA Hong Kong because it's a really good starting point for any JSA members because in JSA Hong Kong we do have a very good structure to help you to, you know, like get the most and get the best experience in your JSA career, in your JSA journey as a new member. I was super lucky, I would say, and also I got loads of support as well when I was a new member. So I learned a lot in JCI Hong Kong, and then after I moved to Ireland, just in case if you don't know, so the reason why I moved to Ireland is because I met my husband in JCI, because I was super active in international events. So I turned up to a lot of like international conferences, World Congress in JCI. So yes, so we do have a lot of JCI couples here. So so I met my husband in JCI, and he's also like one of the JCI members in Ireland, and so I think before we jump into these questions, I can share with you more other stories first, and because it's all interrelated. So I met my husband. Suppose, you know, it's a physical, you know, like meeting each other. But to make the long story short, I went to the 2016 JSA World Congress in Quebec City in Canada, and I met loads of Irish friends there because I met them in the other events in the UN headquarters for the UN the JCI Global Partnership Summit. So we used to organize that big event in the UN headquarters in the United States in New York, but I think they didn't, you know, continue that project in the last few years, like before COVID even. So anyway, I turned up to the event in 2016 and also 2017. So for the 2016 one, I met loads of Irish guys over there because they have a delegation over there. And then I was so excited to meet them again in the JSA World Congress Congress. And I'm still very good friends with the past national president at that year of JCI Ireland, because he was actually like the matchmaker, for myself and also my husband. And then we took a selfie in the gala dinner at the World Congress, the last night. And then there were like big parties, thousands of people in the, like big hall over there sitting down for the dinner. And then myself and also Brian, which is, which is,
General Tria, sila my host.
Okay. I thought like some other members is talking. Anyway, I will keep it going. So so I met my husband, national president at that time, and also his fiance over there. So we took a selfie, three of us, and then I tagged Brian on his Facebook, and my husband saw the photo on Brian's Facebook, and then he added me on Facebook. I thought that I was there talking to him, like some of the Irish guys there, and because loads of them, they look pretty, similar, and I was bad, I was pretty bad in names, so I cannot remember who is who over there. And anyway, I added him on Facebook. Usually I don't do that. I would talk to the members that who I talked to before, and I accepted them on Facebook, because otherwise I right now I already have the 4,000 members on my Facebook. I hope to talk to everyone before I accept them at their friend request. But anyway, I was like talking to him for quite a while, and then I found that he was not fucking there. He was not there at all, and he just said, "Oh, I saw your photo with Brian, so that's why I added you on Facebook." I was like, "Okay." So anyway, we started to talk to each other online, and then we start from there. And I invited him to Hong Kong to my inauguration ceremony, because the following year I was I was elected as the local president over there. So we organized some big events, and then that was his, like first time turning up to the JCI Hong Kong event. And we start from there, and then so he was one of the local president of JCI Galway. So that's why I'm here in Galway now. And so I moved to Galway in 2017 December. So after my term as the local president. So because I was like, I didn't really want to just move to Ireland during my presidential year, because I do have my duties, like not just in JCI, and as well as my day job as well. I do need to have some time to try to like do some handover, give people the heads up that I'm fucking moving to Ireland, and then say goodbye to everyone. So I moved to Ireland in 2017 December, and at that time, my husband told me that, hey, do you want to have another go again as a local president in JCI Galway? Because like that is another ball game in Europe, right? In Hong Kong, or even though in JCI Indonesia, you have lots of members there. Members over there are super active. Like Katina is super hardworking, doing all the project, talking to all the, arranging everything, talking to speakers, designing the promotion and all of that. We are all self-starter in Asia. We know what we are doing in JCI. We are super motivated. We want to be active. We want to get the most out of here. But let me tell you, it is another story in Europe. Of course, we do have a lot of members, same as you guys, super hardworking, doing a lot of stuff. But majority of the members, they will be like, I don't give a shit. They join JCI, they probably just for fun. They want to, do stuff, like some of the, like small tasks only. Try not to engage with them like during weekend, because weekend for them is like for family time, fun time. They want to spend the time just to have some rest. And that's another mindset. And then what the story is, at that time, my JCI Galway, my chapter, there was a girl who's supposed to run for the local president at that year. She dropped out in the last moment, 2 weeks before the election, saying that I don't want to do it, like for the following year. And then she was saying that she has some job, like work commitments or something like that. We don't really know if it is real or not, but it probably is, because in Europe, the members, they will not put JCI as a high priority. They probably like put JCI as like the extracurricular activities after work only. So try not to bother them too much. It's not like like in Asia, we treat JCI as like a second job. Like we put so much time in, because we know that what kind of value value that we're going to get out of this organization. But in Asia, but in Europe, it is not, you know, like the case. So my chapter at that time, like they were a little bit struggling to get someone to, you know, like take over the chapter for the following year in 2018. So, and my husband was the IPP at that time, so he needed to do the election and AGM. So he was like, hey, we were like struggling to get another like candidate to go for the role. Do you want to just have another role? You already had all the, you know, like experience in JCI Hong Kong. It's going to be fine. So yeah, so it's going to be fine. Like, don't worry about it. It's not going to be like what like loads of work just like in Asia. But anyway, he was saying that, oh, you're going to do great, and just don't worry about it too much. We're going to help you. So of course, I found out it's all lies, you know, after that. So what happened was, I turned up to the AGM, and I met loads of other members there, and loads of members. That's not too much. It's like less than 10 people turning up to the AGM in the election. Can you believe that? Is the AGM of the local chapters. And then what happened is we found out the local president, you know, at that year, he fucked up. He didn't do enough promotion of the local chapter, didn't do active recruitment. Most of the member expired the membership. He didn't put them to renew the membership. So at the end of the day, no new members coming in. Old members didn't renew. So at the end of the day, I didn't really have so many people on my board. So I only have like 3 members on my local board when I decided to run, and I had no clue who they are. So basically, like, I turned up to the house for the election. I was expecting to have more people, but at the end of the day, I found out for the whole chapters we only have 5 people. Myself, my husband, 3 board members. That's it. So 5 people. I start my year as the local president of JCI Galway, and yes, it is. So like I share this story with all the members I come across, because I told them, if your chapter is struggling, your chapter will not be as bad as my chapter when I start my JCI in JCI Ireland. 5 members for the whole chapters. 3 of them are on my board, and then no one else, and no one give a shit too much, you know. But the thing is, I didn't really look at the negative side. I was looking at all the positive side. I started to do more research. I started to find out what is the reason, what happened, you know, like before that. So I found out all the good history of JCI Galway, my chapter right now. Like the chapter is amazing because we have a very good and non-history. So a lot of politicians in Galway City, they were all past JCI Galway members. So we do have a very good, you know, connection in the, you know, government, in the local government. We do have a lot of good, successful business in Galway. Their owners are actually the past president of JCI Galway. So we do have a very, very, you know, like good relationship with a lot of, you know, like people in the community, in the city. But what happened? Like, how come people did not join and didn't renew? So the problem is, of course, is the leadership. Like last year, as I mentioned, that like no one really give a shit, no one really do the work. So that's why I think it's time for new blood. You know, we need to get new people in. If the older people, like if the old people, they're not doing stuff, that doesn't really matter too much, because when your chapter is struggling, the solution, one of the solution is you need to get the new members in to try to, you know, like bring in the new stuff and set up the new structure and all of that. So within 6 months, I was, you know, at that time, I was totally new in Ireland. So I was like, I can make use of JCI to, you know, like get the most out of, you know, in JCI Ireland, because as a newcomers in the country, I was like, I don't know anyone in Ireland, so probably I can, you know, like make use of this organization to reach out to more people in the community. So I reach out to all the past presidents. I call them, I arrange a coffee chat with them. You know, like I was super proactive. I try to, you know, like get to know everyone. So I started to get to know more stories of JCI Galway. I get to know like what were the project works before. So like you guys were amazing. Like back in the days, they have like 3,000 members. You know, like 3,000, not just, you know, like 100 or something. Like we're talking about in the 80s in JCI Galway, we have 3,000 members in a chapter, 3,000. what happened? How come we only have like 5 people right now in the house? And I started to figure out like they did some amazing project. Like for example, they used to organize a very good project. It's an award-winning project called Galway Tourist Guide. So I relaunched it in my year as a local president. So the Galway Tourist Guide is like the tourist guide magazine. So you can pick up from the tourist office. You know, like we in Ireland, in Europe, we have a lot of visitor center. You know, like in different city. So JCI Galway, we produce our magazine to tell people where to go in your city, to where to spend your money. So they invite all the business to put the advertisement in the magazine. So in that way, we have the money to to help the chapters to sustain in the finance and also for the operation, and also they can get some money to try to support the members to go to international events. So that is the project to keep the chapters running for a long time. But in the last 10 years, and then members think that, oh, it's a lot of work, and you have to go to all the business to try to get them money. And we're talking about like each business, we need to ask them for like around like 600 euro. That's not a lot for a lot of them. So it's 600 euro, and then if you get like 10 advertisers, business in, and then you got like fucking like 6,000 euro. Like it's 6,000 euro is like around 60,000 something Hong Kong dollar, and you can do loads of stuff. So you can support your members to go to international conference and world congress, get lots of members, like to sponsor their registration fee, so that the new members, they don't need to pay. So they have like all the JCI experience. So that's why like how come JCI Galway back in the days, they have loads of members super active, because people got the value out of it. So and I started to figure out like, okay, so we were pretty good at that time. How come we are not at that stage anymore? So I found out is the leadership, no one do the work, no active members in the door, no support from the senators. It's not like no support, because no one engage or talk to those people, because they are all experienced members. They do know what JCI works. So I know all the problems. So I started to figure out how to fix the whole problem, and also I want to get the most out of my presidential year as the local president, as the newcomer in the country. So I was super active in the first 6 months, getting new people in. I reached out to the local universities here in Galway. We have like 2 very good universities in this city. I just call them, because in Ireland, in Europe, they don't like to send email. So if you talk to European, try not to fucking like send an email. Don't send a message, call them. It's the most direct way, because that is what I learned as well. Like I was doing so Hong Kong way when I first moved to Ireland, and it didn't work. I tried to message and send email people. No one reply you, because they don't really know who you are. But if you talk to them or turn up, in front of their face, they were like, okay, so this is Carol. It's a real person. It's not like some random people, like coming from nowhere. So that is also what I learned as well as a local president in Ireland. And I talked to a lot of officers in those universities, and try to ask them like, how can I reach out to some of the students? Because like in Galway, we are like a college town. We have a population, maybe like more than half of them, they are all students. So I try to get the postgraduate student like a little bit more mature. It's not like undergrad, like they are just probably like teenagers, but postgraduates, like master student, PhD student, they are more mature. They want to, like network with the professionals. So that I started from the colleges. I talked to them. I set up the booth at their like open days, or at their volunteers day, or in their career day. So I just make sure that people get to know what Junior Chamber really is. Oh, by the way, in Ireland or in Galway, people, they don't know about what JCI is, but they know what Junior Chamber really is. So we call it Junior Chamber still in Ireland. So they know what Junior Chamber really is. So they let us to do the promotion in their in their schools. So I reached out to a lot of students in the first few months when I was in Ireland, and people were like, who are you? And like especially like I'm not Irish looking, so they will be like more curious, like what is this organization is about, and they really want to like get to know more. So I do a lot of like recruitment open night events as well. I was super hardworking. I almost doing all the open nights every month. I just pick one of them Thursday or Friday nights. I pick the venue, and I do like the orientation, what JCI really is. I do a lot of testing because I figure out European, they don't like to recite JCI creed, mission and vision. They don't give a shit. So I was like, okay, so the first one, I try to be like kind of formal, just like what we did in Asia. And I'll find out if I put the JCI creed on, it's actually turning off people. No one wants to sign up because they think that is this a religious organization or like what I'm signing up for? So the JCI mission is really good, but I found out JCI creed, no one want to, like if I put that on, people will not sign up. So and then I talked to a lot of other members in JCI, in Europe. They was like, yes. Basically, like the only situation that you will recite the JCI creed is in your national convention of the whole year in JCI event. Like no one. Yeah, so like definitely they just want to join for fun. So like no formal stuff. Don't take it too serious. And you really know how to, like talk to them. It's about socializing in Genie Chamber in Europe. So if we do a lot of formal stuff, you're definitely turning people off. So that's what I found out. Like I just do a lot of experiments, how to recruit people. I try not to do it like completely Hong Kong way, but I try to turn it into a little bit of the European way as well. So I know that they don't like JCI creed. They want to, like do social events. So try not to do too much training. Because if you organize training, if you do it like for the first time, people will turn up. If you keep doing JCI training, no one will turn up anymore. So we do a lot of networking events. We do some fun events. We do some business networking on the cruise. So we book a boat cruise and then in Galway, and then we do some recruitment events, like when we are on the cruise as well. So we do some fun, like events to try to engage people. And then for like the struggling part is we had a very small board, and not too many people have loads of experience in JCI. So I have to really start from the scratch and try to like educate them. What is the JCI way, how things work, how to mobilize members and how to keep them motivated. So like luckily I know how to like mobilize or try to make them active. I got those training from JCI Hong Kong when I was a membership officer, so I know how to make things happen. And then try to get to know what is the Irish way, what things work. Because I remember the first orientation events I organized, I turned up there on time, not really on time, like it was like fucking like 30 minutes before the starting time. Like I was on the board, all the time when I was organizing events. So and then I was expecting people would turn up, like I wanted to start events at around like 6:30 after work. Like usually people will finish work at around 5, in Ireland. So 6:30, like people will have time to have some food before you turn up to the venue. No one turned up at 6:30. At 6:30, no one turning up. I was like, okay, probably people are like on the way or something like that. The first member started to turn up at 7. It's the Irish time. So I figure out if I want to, like start the event on time, I need to tell people to come earlier. And then, so even though like I know that, as an organizer, the event will not start at half 6. And then the event will start at around like 7. So at least I make them, to turn up a little bit earlier, so they are not going to be late. So we are not going to be like, we need to wait for everyone to start the event. So that was like a lot of learning for me, and then like and struggling when I was, like starting my my presidential year in JCI. And then what is even worse is at that year, no other local chapters in Ireland wanted to host the national convention. And I was like, it's a really good opportunity for me, because if no one want to do it, I'm definitely up for doing it, because like organizing the national convention, you are going to, like get all the members to, like come to your city. And then also and also you are going to like showcase how great your chapter really is, how strong your chapter is, to organize this big event. So that's why I was like, okay, no one really want to do it, so I'm going to like take over it. But as I mentioned that I just like arrived in Ireland, I was just in the door, and I need to really figure out like which venue I need to pick, how to do the promotion, how to reach out to everyone. So in the very year as a local president, totally new in Ireland, no connections, everything start from ground zero. And I just like started, I'm always a self-starter. I know how to make things work. So I get loads of new members in the first 6 months. I got like 45 new members joining JCI Galway. So that's why that year we got the best local growth and developments, like projects in the European conference. So like it's 45 members in the first 6 months with 3 of them, in the door. So it's a lot of work. But right now, JCI Galway, my chapter, is the biggest chapter in Ireland. It is not Dublin, it's Galway. Galway is the is the biggest chapter in Ireland now, and we do have a very active membership base, and members are working very hard. And they're super active. I got the right people into the door, and then so that's why in the years following, my year, and then the members are still very active. They know how to like get the most out of JCI. So I would say that like right now I'm looking back, it is not really like the challenging moment, is not the struggling moment for me. Like I think that it is the moments that for me to learn. But of course, like we know that like in the very beginning of everything, it is always difficult to start. But after you get to know what works, what doesn't work, and you pretty know like how to find, everything, to try to help you out to make things work. And of course, like that year we organized a national convention. It was actually the best national convention in the last 10 years in the JCI Ireland history, because we got a lot of international delegates coming over to support me. I was making loads of friends at that time, around the world. So a lot of members, around Europe or Asia. We have some friends from Hong Kong. They turn up to my national convention as well, just to support, because they're like, I'm really interested, like what JCI Ireland national convention really is, because no one told them, no one invited them before, to turn up to their events. I was like, just come along. And at the end of the day, we have more international delegates, more than the Irish one, turning up to the national convention. So it's so much fun. And like I really learned a lot in my presidential year. And like it is just really amazing, because as a newcomer in Ireland, I built up my own connection. I know, a lot of business people in the local community. It's actually set the foundation for myself, how to, like prepare myself, to keep going forward as, on the national board, as a national president, and even though on JCI Europe, because if I didn't, like have that first year as a local president in Ireland, in Galway, struggling, start from 3 to 45, I probably will not make it, that far to today and talk to you guys here to share my stories. So that's the
really amazing story. I was really thinking the transition from JCI Hong Kong to JCI Ireland was that easy, because individual and leadership training and development in JCI Hong Kong is really that good, and you were able to lift JCI Galway to greater heights. It really took an effort. And for the information of everyone, there's my notes. In 2018, Carol was the most outstanding local president. And during that time, her chapter had the most outstanding new member. At the same time, best local economic development program for Galway Tourist Guide. Wow, awesome. You did that plus the national convention, right?
Yeah, so like you can imagine that it is a lot of work, and I think like leadership matters. So I would say that every chapters, they do have their potential, but who is leading, like is also very important, because you really like right now I'm already like as an advisor role on my local chapters. I just see that we do have a lot of potential members. They're like doing all the good work, but the thing is you really need to motivate them, keep them engaged and active, how like keep them here if they do have the potential, and also just try to encourage them to do more, because I always share my story, because I believe that like if you're talking about a struggling or challenging moment, no one will be worse than my time. Like I come to Ireland as a newcomer, no connection, didn't know anyone except my husband and his family, but lots of them, they are like over the age of joining JCI, so it's not really like helping to get the new members. And then but I do think that like I appreciate all the opportunities, and I would take all the challenging you know, like I would take all the challenges and on, and I turn them into opportunities later on, because I think there's nothing too difficult to, you know, like change, and just try to do your best, and then you will see what it will lead you to, you know, like you will probably like find it, okay, when you're looking back, it is not that difficult. It's not that, you know, like too struggling at that time, because you already, you know, like equip yourself, you learned a lot, you know, along the way. So yeah, I would say that transition is like super tough in the beginning, because you are so used to the mindset, and you think that things will work in certain way in JSA Hong Kong. And I'm not saying that like in JSA Hong Kong is like making you, you know, like so used to that environment. But I would say that like when you're in a comfortable environment for a long time, you probably like lose the ability to try to change, or you started to, you know, think that things would work in certain way, but in the reality it's not, because you are changing the environment in Europe. And then if you assume that what happened works in Hong Kong and then will work in Ireland, it is not going to work. So I learned the lesson when I first moving over here. And I think that in JSA Hong Kong is even though you're new members, or even though you are the local president, things will work because you have all the past presidents and helping you out to make things work, and you have loads of members sitting there waiting there, you know, to help you out. But in Europe is you have to do everything on your own first, and then you really need to lead by example. You need to show people, you know, this is how you know what how we're going to do stuff. So if you're not going to do it, don't assume that people will step up, because no one will. So you have to be always the first one to step up and tell people that this is how things go, and we have to do it together. If you do it together, and then people are like, okay, I'm going to help you, I'm up for that. So yeah, I would say that like it's a mindset transition, you know, like to conclude the challenging moments. Yeah.
Okay. We were so inspired with how you have achieved those in just 1 year. So that gives us more motivation to, with regards to challenge that we're facing with our own chapters, to move forward and accept the challenges right away. Okay. Okay. Let's move to the third question.
Maybe 4.
Number 4.
Yes.
What makes you important to develop your own JCI career, or why is it important to develop one's own JCI career?
What makes you important to develop our own JCI career? I would say you really have to have a very clear goal to start with. Mm-hmm. Like you have to really remember, why did you sign up in the beginning? Like, why you're here, Prince, in the door? Like, why are you here? Why are you joining JCI? So like, I said that like to start with, I just try to like look for some kind of professional network. I really want to develop myself. It's more for friendship, for fun in the beginning, even though when I was in Hong Kong. And I know that I'm going to meet loads of friends and like-minded people. So that's why in the beginning, I was, you know, super active to turn up to a lot of events. And I know that like you have to turn up, you have to show your face, and so people will get to know you. So that's why like I was like, okay, this training is interesting, I'm signing up. This one is interesting, I'm signing up. So I signed up to a lot of events. I was super active at that time in JCI Hong Kong. So and then after that, the longer you hang around, and then the longer you realize in JCI you're not just a participant. I'm not sure that the orientation in JCI Indonesia would be something similar to JCI Hong Kong, and there's always a slide there to show you the JCI career tree, like where you go, you know, like start from a member, and then you started to step up, go on to the local board, go to the national board, and then go on to maybe like the JCI international, you know, like level, and then you might be a world president one day, and then so and after that you become a good leader, you know, for the community, something like that. So that I until now, when every time when I'm doing recruitment events, I always showcase that JCI career plan to, you know, like to show the potential members, why are you here? Because like to start with, of course, you're going to meet loads of people. You're going to meet loads of friends.
Mm.
But after that's where you're going, you really have to have a clear goal because you pay your membership fee. I'm not sure how much money that you guys are paying in JCI Indonesia, but in JCI Hong Kong, it's around like 100. At that time, it was 150 euro. And then in JCI Ireland, and around the same membership fee as well. So you pay the money, every year, and you really have to, think about, are you getting the most out of it? Are you going to, like get the most out of your membership fee? Where do you want to see you, in maybe like 3 years in JCI? Because you pay your money, you spend your time here. You don't want to waste your time and then do nothing, right? Even though it's a extracurricular activities after work and you don't get paid here, but I do think that people are learning and getting something out of this organization. So everyone will have to have the clear goal, like where do you want to go? Like what do you want to achieve here? So I made a very clear goal in the in a very early stage, which is I don't want to just be the participant. I really want to step up. I'm not saying that I want to be the world president one day, because that like there's only one person every year, and then you're competing with the members around the world. So I would say that I will be happy to have at least like one position every year, just to keep myself active, to try to like get the most out of my membership. Because paying for like turning up to events as a participant, you're not learning anything. You're not really like getting the most out of this organization. So I will always encourage the members that you have to step up. You have to say yes to all the opportunities. That when your president asks you to do anything, you just say yes, because they're not going to kill you. There's someone who will help you out to get things done. And you really have to have a clear mindset. What do you want to achieve here? So the clear mindset, clear goal is super important. And also every year you always have a very clear goal in JCI, because otherwise you join. I saw so many members in my JCI journey. Like I saw a lot of them, they hang around in JCI for like 10 years, but they didn't take any like position. Like they're like, oh, I don't want to have this kind of a responsibility, I just want to have fun. But of course you can have fun in some other groups out there. Like there are loads of groups that they are all for free, you don't have to pay. Like why you're paying for that and doing nothing? You just turn up the events and you're not really stepping up. So because as we all know that like JCI, we develop leaders, so you have to really like step up, take the position every year, very clear what you want to achieve here. So like if you don't have a clear goal and then you just hang around and then waste your time here, like you don't have to pay the money to join events. Like you can do a lot more outside in other organizations, but when you're in JCI, you pay your membership fee. I encourage the members, like you step up, you take the role for a year, you do stuff. You can try to figure out like what JCI can lead you to bring you to. Because I keep telling all my new members in JCI Ireland that you sign up to pay for your membership fee, and you know that these are all the events that we plan to do for this year. But if you have something in your mind you want to do, you need to just let your local president know, and then we can make something happen. And then to make sure that you get the money, you get the value out of your membership fee. Otherwise you're paying like 150 quid a year, and then you are not getting anything out of here. And then the following year you might not want to renew because you think that you are not getting anything out of the membership. So having the clear goal, what do you want to achieve, and where do you want to go, is super important. So when I start my JCI journey, so as you can see that I joined in 2014 in JCI Hong Kong as a new member. I joined the board in 2015, and then every year I have a position in the less than 3 years, and I was a local president. Of course it was pretty fast at that time. Like if you're like looking at a lot of JCI local chapters in Hong Kong, like if you're in the bigger chapters, probably it takes 10 years to become the local president, in the bigger chapters. But in the smaller chapters, you probably still have to hang around for a few more years just to get to know how things work. But at that time I know I want to keep like going up. So at that time when I was when I finished my term in JCI Galway, I just keep like taking roles every year, because I know it's going to be like good for me to develop my professional network. So I always have a very clear goal, what do I want to achieve. So even though like I put my name down, I'm definitely running for national president. I was actually the first non-European national president for JCI Ireland in the last 64 years. Like in the past is always Irish people running for the position. And I was like, I did a lot better than a lot of Irish members. How come I cannot do it? And of course, Ireland is a very inclusive country. So even though I'm not Irish looking, they still let me to run for the national president role, and they're being super supportive. And I had my best year, as a national president. I got like loads of like exposure, good connection, and all of that. So I would say that like clear goal is super important when you're like trying to develop your JCI career, because you're the only one know where do you want to go. So think about it.
Thank you so much, NP. So that's clear mindset, clear goals. We need to step up, say yes, take the position. Those are very important stuff. Thank you for that, NP. So let's go to the next question. Choose a number.
5.
5. 5. What is the most unforgettable moment that you get in JCI?
The most unforgettable moments, I would say definitely is the year as a national president last year. Because like you can probably be the local president more than once. I would say like that's how it probably like is kind of rare as well, because still I don't really see any other JCI members around the world had the same experience than me, because I finished the year as a local president in JCI Hong Kong, and I switched to JCI Galway, and then I was elected to be another year as a local president. So I was like from Asia to Europe, like in 2 years time. And then after that, I think this experience really like equipped me and also helped me out, like to prepare my year as the national president last year. So last year, as you know, that we are all still in pandemic. Like I don't know like how's the situation in Indonesia, in Philippines, but like in Hong Kong still it's like it's not really like locked down now, but you are not allowed to travel anyway. But in Europe, in Ireland, luckily I already like go on to a several trip already this year. I just went to JCI Scotland National Convention 2 weeks ago in Dundee in Scotland. I went to some other events, as well. So yeah, super jealous. So things are opening up in Ireland. No one is wearing masks outside. We are like living normal life right now. Of course, if you're like going to some other countries, you still have to, they have to still check your vaccination record or something like that in order to get in. But otherwise, like we are pretty normal life living in right now in Europe. So, but last year, it's still during pandemic, and most of the events were all online. In the beginning of the year, I would say like until maybe September last year, most of the events that we organized was still online. But I was lucky enough that I organized the physical national convention, physical one in Ireland. But it was like the last event, as a national president. But last year it was super unforgettable, because I believe that like when you're the national president, you always want to like walk up to the stage and wave your flag, and then like go to the international events, and then people recognize you as a national president. I didn't have all of this. Like all the events I turned up to were all online. Now I suppose that it was the same thing for all the national presidents around the world last year, or even though in 2020, because these 2 years all the national presidents we did our stuff on Zoom all the time. So but last year it was not too bad, because we did have the experience how to manage stuff on Zoom from 2020. So 2021 was not too bad. So I started my year pretty smooth. But we did have some struggling time, because as I mentioned that in Ireland, the members are not like in Asia. They are not too super active. So I was super lucky, because I do have some very good and supportive board members on my national board. So that's also what I learned in Hong Kong, is when you are building your own team, you have to grab all the good people around you. You know that the people around you, they are all the people who will help you out, who will support you along the way. They're not going to fight with you for no reason. So when I decided to run for the national president role, I grabbed all the good members from different chapters across Ireland to support me to go on the national board as well, to make things happen. So So even though I know the local presidents across Ireland, they are not really like super active recruiting people, I would be like, look, I'm going to help you out to get people to sign up, even though it's during pandemic, because probably it would be the same situation in a lot of countries last year. A lot of members, they didn't want to sign up to join JCI because they would say that, oh, it's a lot of events are all on Zoom. I want to meet people in person. Why do I need to pay for the membership? Like the same amount. We didn't reduce the price last year. It's the same amount of the membership, and then all the events are all online. Why do I need to sign up? But I last year we did have a very good membership growth, even though it's during pandemic, and we got a loads of good members joining. Even though like after they sign up, I didn't meet them in person till now. Because like I think in JCI Hong Kong back in the days we were too lucky because everything is so central. It is all the activities are all happening in the same area. You don't really need to travel. You don't need to drive. You don't need to take the train to get to those other place for JCI events. We're talking about if you're going to support other chapters events from Galway to Dublin, it's a 3 hours bus for me to go to Dublin. So you have to make the effort to try to support other people events. If I go to Cork in another chapter, it's another 4 hours drive. So I think like this, like if I share my the situation with several members in Hong Kong, they cannot believe it because in Hong Kong everything is so centralized. You can take the train or bus, whatever public transportation, and then you can get to one point to another point within an hour or two. That's it. You can get to, like most of the place in Hong Kong within 2 hours. But in Ireland, it's a bigger country. If you go to, like some other town or city, it's like few hours. I think probably it's the same as Philippines as well. Like if you want to, like go to some other place, it's kind of far away from each other. So like I think that it's very struggling, like to try to turn up to all the physical events. So last year I was like, doing that on Zoom, you can support all the other chapters events. So it's good to do it online anyway. Of course, doing the online events, you will probably lose some kind of like focus or what's that called, like the physical interaction with the members. So that's the missing parts that I was missing from last year as the national president online. And then and then lastly, even though everything is all online, I built up a lot of great work, the foundation for the upcoming year. So like, for example, last year we did the online 10 Outstanding Young Persons Awards online. Even though it's all online, right? We got a massive sponsorship from Huawei Ireland. They give us like good money, to put up the events all online. But that's not too much cost, for us to organize this kind of, like big events. So for us, it's probably we pay for the production, like member. Actually, like we got one of the members from JCI New Jersey to do it, and he's actually from Philippines as well, but he moved to New Jersey for a long time. And then, so we pay him to do all the work to host the event for JCI Ireland for the 10 Outstanding Young Persons Awards. And then we pay for that, and pretty much that's it. And then we got most of the money. We try to, support the world winner, like to go to South Africa last year, because Ireland last year we were doing pretty good because we have a very good candidates to run for TOYP. So we were lucky enough to have one of the world awardee of TOYP from Ireland. We tried to support her to go to South Africa, from that sponsorship money. But then I was like, oh, everything is all online. So, so unfortunately she couldn't make it, over there. But that's another story to share about like the TOYP. But I would say that everything is all online, and you really have to find a way to interact and also keep engaged with your members, and also get the most out of your year as a national president, and also try to make as much as like partnership as you can as the national president, because you are representing your country. So as I said it to you guys, I had no connection before I moved to Ireland, and then after that, after the year as a national president, I reached out to all the people I know, government officials, and local councillors and all the like famous business people in Ireland, all the big companies in Ireland, to try to ask them for money for sponsorship. I send them, I try to target everyone, you know, I arrange the Zoom call with all the people. I talked to, you know, some of the big companies in Ireland. I'm not sure if you know that. Hold on a second. Yes, come on. Yeah, so we talked to a lot of we talked to a lot of like partners in Ireland. So just try to, you know, like make them get to know what the organization is about, and also try to not just try to build on my own network as well. So last year for the, you know, for the whole year, we got like loads of support from the government. So we got like the council, lots of local councillors supporting our events in JCI Ireland. We got a Taoiseach. So Taoiseach is actually like the Irish name of the Prime Minister of Ireland. So the Taoiseach is actually like he was the past members of JCI Cork. So we got like loads of like good support from the government. We got loads of fundings from the government as well. So it's pretty unforgettable for myself, because you thought that like being online for the whole year is kind of, you know, you are probably like missing some of the very good opportunities, you know, like as a national president. But because it's all online, you can get to do more stuff, because you don't need to travel around. You can go on the Zoom to talk to everyone. People will have more time to spend, you know, to try to, you know, interact with you, to get to know you a little bit more. So we built up a lot of good partnership opportunities. We got big money from the business partner sponsors, and got loads of new members joining. So it's like good fun. And then of course, everything that I try to, you know, like do or work on here is actually helping me as well in my professional side, because I don't want to waste my time and the connection what I build in JCI. So I try to also like apply some of the connection that in my professional life. So try to get the best, you know, like from the both sides as well. So like, of course, I do encourage all the members think about, you know, like take the position every year. So in order to, you know, like build up your portfolio, your JSA career, and you will become the national president of your country one day, even though like I know it's kind of like competitive in Asia. But you know, you can get there if you are like you know, hang around in JSA long enough of time.
With all this pandemic going, we really wanted to see everyone. Hopefully we could meet during the JCI World Congress. And with some of our sisters here from JCI Bahia, we really wanted to see you everyone in person.
Yeah, okay. So we actually are organizing the JCI Europe Live tomorrow. So I'm going to be the host of JCI Europe Live, because I'm on the Team Europe this year. So tomorrow 6 to 7 Ireland time, you can check our time zone. So we're going to do the Facebook Live on the JCI Europe Facebook page, and we have some of the COC team member from JCI Hong Kong will be on the call with me. So we're going to talk about you know, like some of the news and the updates from JCI World Congress. So if you guys have no idea what is going to happen for the World Congress, so you guys can also like turn up to the JCI Europe Live or watch the replay on the page as well. Yes.
We'll register the World Con. Okay, let's go to our fifth question. What number would it be?
Three.
What makes you stay in JCI? I really wanted to know.
Yeah, it's a very good question. So I would say it's the people around you. You know, it's your JSA buddies. It's your JSA buddies. So, like, of course, we always say that like members are super important, and I'm always lucky enough to have loads of JSA good friends. Of course, a lot of them are still in JSA Hong Kong, and but right now I'm in Europe now. I make loads of JSA good buddies. We have a lot of JSA groups. on my WhatsApp. So we have some JCI best friends group, JCI parties, Zoom parties for these groups. And like, even though like if you're going to JVC, I was actually the very first person creates a group on JVC, which is called JCI Zoom Parties Buddies or something like that. So feel free to find that group and join that group as well. So like that group, we have many members in that group. Can you believe it? So we have more members than a lot of formal official JCI groups on JVC. So we have I would say like since the start of the pandemic, we organize a lot of Zoom parties, and especially if you remember that, like JCI Ireland, we're supposed to host the 2020 European conference, like 2 years ago, and we were actually the first international conference to make it online. So at that time, I was responsible to host all the after parties. So the after parties, in terms of I need to reach out to a lot of countries in Europe and try to like connect with their international international officer on their national board to try to make something happen. So every night, like since the pandemic, I was actually like hosting the Zoom parties from like 7 or 8 p.m. Europe time to the following morning, because like usually we would keep the party going for a long time, and we will started to like get some of the members from Asia turning up as well. So so we started that tradition during the European conference, and yeah, it's like fucking like 6 or 7 hours staying on Zoom talking shit for the first 1 or 2 hours, and then some of the members, they would plan some of the program, like we would do some pub quiz, we would play some music, we would do some like interesting stuff. I remember one of the nights, the Turkish nights, they also like throwing all the prize, to everyone. Like we have like hundreds of people, on the Zoom call. Like it's so much fun. And we also organize some like pets gathering. So we have a lot of members, they have some cats or dogs, they have their puppies, so they will bring their puppies like on the call, and then to show everyone so they can make friends for their puppies as well. So there are loads of different like type of topics we organized in the last 2 years. So of course it's your JCI buddies, like they are the one to keep you like staying in JCI. I am from my unofficially like observation, I think that like most of the people, if they want to quit JCI, it's because they didn't make any friends here. So if you want to keep your members stay active in JCI, is you have to help them to make friends. So you have to help them to like do the networking. Like for me, I do a very good onboarding for the new members. So basically, like if I know some new members joining JCI, I will help them to get like loads of new friends in one go. So I will like of course in JCI Hong Kong, we organize some like 5-star training camps, and so they will have their buddies in the same year joining JCI in the at around the same time. Like in JCI Ireland, we also organize some kind of like new members gathering. So they will like get to know their like new buddies who are like turning up or joining JCI like at a similar time, so they can like get to know some buddies and new friends all together, so they can probably like work on some projects or work on some kind of some other stuff together. So making JCI buddies is super important. Like even though right now in the last few years in Europe, I do have a lot of like good buddies from 2020, like from the European conference, we like from all those after parties, and then probably you cannot believe it, we always have Zoom parties every Friday and Sunday, even every Friday and Saturday, even though like we're still doing that now. Like we're talking about 2022 now, so we do have a very, very good JCI Buddies network. So I would say the friends are like the people that I met in JCI are the people that will make me staying here, because I'll be like thinking, if I'm not going to stay in JCI, and probably like I will not make any excuse to meet those people I know, like anymore, because I think about it, I know a lot of like, of course I know you guys now, and then and I know next time if I'm going to ASPEC or if I go to World Congress, I I know where to find you guys. You know, like I would go to JCI Indonesia and to look for Kartini and Willie. I know if I go to the JCI Philippines, I know I need to find Prince and some other buddies from JCI Manila as well. So that is like how to keep me going, keep me staying in JCI, keep me active as well.
True, true. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's important. Parties and fellowships. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we've come to the last question. That's item number 6. If JCI is a food, what food that perfectly describes JCI in your opinion?
I would say definitely is hot pot. You know hot pot, Prince?
Oh my God. Those with the spicy one and the other one, the milky one, or something like that. Then you dip vegetables and all those meats. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say it's hot pot. Anyway, we don't have hot pots in Ireland. Usually I will make my own hot pots at home. So why I would say it's hot pot to if JCI is a food, then I would say hot pots will be like presenting what JCI really is really well, is because hot pot, we all know that it's a big feast. Like you can put different type of meat or vegetable, what kind of food there. You can make your own flavor for the soup base. But if you want to make it tasty, make it like super yummy, delicious, you have to put the food that you really want to put in, you want to eat. So that means like if you want to get the most, or if you want to get the best experience from JCI, it all depends on you, what type of food that you put in, what type of time, what kind of effort that you put in. So like if you put in like loads of yummy food, you spend your time to make your soup base and all the working like ingredients, seasoning, of course it's going to be like super yummy foods. There's no doubt, because you put the effort in to make it great and tasty. But if you want to just put water, put nothing, and then probably it's like tasteless because you didn't really put the effort in. So like it is pretty straightforward. In JCI is like of course it's like hot pot, but I would say that like if you're going to the gym, the amounts of the time and effort you put that in, and then you're going to get the results after that. So it really depends on the members themselves. How much time you want to put that in, how much effort you want to put that in. Of course, if you are saying that, oh, I'm vegan, I will just put vegetables, in the soup. It's all fine because it is your own choice. So that is what you are getting. You will only have vegetables in your hot pot. But if you're like, oh, I want to have the big feast, I want to have loads of meats and the beef and everything, I want to get the most out of it. I really want to, make sure that I pay for the money for the hot pot, and I really need to, make sure that I have the super tasty hot pot. I want to make myself food. So that is the amount of time and effort that you put it in your food. So I say hot pot is the best description, like what JCI really is. Yeah.
I got hungry. Okay, I think we're done with the interview or the talk. I think one of the many key takeaways that I have is that having that clear goal and why you joined JCI, having that clear mindset, it is very important. And you have to step up in every challenges. You have to say yes and yes, and you need to take the position. And really love the analogy of the hot pot and JCI. Okay, whenever someone asks me, okay, hot pot,
Yes.
certainly it would be the hot pot. I guess everyone would agree, right, Kartini? Okay, so I'd say joining JCI helps us discover more of ourselves, and it makes us a responsible person, I think. And it develops our people skills somehow and expands our network. It serves as productive breaks from our normal lives, our daily routine. And whatever reasons of joining JCI, we should see to it that we have clear goals and mindset, and that the principles and the values of the organization aligns with our personal core values and principles. We do not simply exemplify the values of JCI in JCI activities, but also in our personal lives and towards the community.
Prince, I didn't know that you are so good at doing all the summary. That's really good.
Actually, public speaking is one of my Waterloo. I'm so afraid of accepting the role, but after hearing you saying say yes, take the position, so I took the challenge of hosting this event right now. So thank you so much for inspiring everyone here, and thank you so much for inspiring me to be more active in JCI.
You're welcome, Prince. You're super good. You're a very good host and MC. Like you keep the conversation super like interesting, and keep like all like you can see that we have loads of comments and communication from the Zoom chat as well. I didn't really have a look until now. Like we have loads of comments from the members. Like all the members are super excited. Like I'm pretty sure that you guys learned something. Of course, what I mentioned that in the call is not something like rocket science, and of course I know a lot of members from Asia, you already know about it. But I say it's definitely is a cultural difference that I come across in the last few years in Hong Kong, from Hong Kong to Europe. And I know that like making fun and then having the fun time in JCI is also super important as well. So like sometimes I love this kind of like session to try to talk to the members, and like some kind of like good opportunities to refresh your mind, why you're here, why you're like stepping up as a leader. Like sometimes when you hang around for quite a long time, you probably be like, oh, I'm kind of like so tired doing all the JSI stuff. I want to retire. I keep talking to myself, I really want to retire, I don't want to do anything in JSI. But I was like, oh, I will hang around for a few more years because I still have a few more years left before I age out. So thanks for the invitation from Katini as well. I'm really like having so much fun today talking to you guys here. Thank you so much.
But before anything else, we would like to present something to you. Tech team, please. We would like to present this certificate of appreciation to NIPP Carol Ho for gracing our event today, for being the honorable speaker at NP Talk held on October 24, 2022, online via Zoom, signed by organizing chairperson Kartini Lu, Fico, Prince, Emma, and Bertha, as well as presidents Nuku, Bori, Lynn Delia, Chin Xiao, and George Ingo. Can we have some picture, tech team?
Yes.
With a certificate. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it. Before we end, we would like to request everyone to turn on their cameras for photo opportunity with NIPP Carol. Wow, pretty. Christy. Okay. Can we request everyone to turn on their cameras? BP, can you do the counting?
All right. So for the first one, 3, 2, 1. Okay, for the second photo, maybe we can have another pose. All right. 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Hey. Thank you so much for today, guys. I know it's a Sunday. I know it's a rest day. Thank you so much, NIPP Carol, for waking up early. I know you can have your breakfast now.
It's okay. I was like super happy that luckily like Katina called me, because otherwise I might not make it on time. So it's really good. You guys are super well prepared. And I missed that.
Yeah, I hope to see everyone soon with the World Congress and the coming aspect. So thank you so much for today. Goodbye, everyone.
I just before we jump off, I just want to say hello to President Kat and also Willie. You guys are on the camera. So.
Really.
Thanks, NP, for the wonderful session.
Thank you. I didn't see you for a while. How are you?
Yeah, been a while to take care of my own things.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And yeah, so when is the next event? From JCI Medan.
You mean like me meeting you?
No, like you guys are organizing something else, so you can probably like promote it to all the other members, you know, just in case if Katrina, if you know any other event.
Okay.
For everything.
For this one, we'll have another event talking about cyber hygiene. So it's like about sharing about the importance of protecting our data, and yeah, not only the private data, but also the organization or companies' data. And it will be held on 26 April, which is in 2 days left. So we have quite packed schedule this month.
Very good, very good. Stay active. And what about JCI Medan? Do you guys are doing any events on Zoom? So like I was on the NFT and crypto events yesterday from JCI Manila. That one is pretty good. So like yeah, like Prince was there as well. So like, I suppose if you guys have any like other Zoom trainings or some Zoom parties or whatever, so feel free to let me know so I can help you guys to share it with the members from Europe. It's going.
I mean the international night.
When is that?
No, the last time we played the games together.
Oh yes, we can do that again. We can do that again. So we didn't organize the Cause Against Humanities, you know, like for quite a while, but we are planning to do some game nights again. So
all right, cool.
Yeah, we like that's what we usually do, Prince. So next time I will try to start a little bit earlier, so you don't need to stay, you know, like stay so late for the game.
But 2 a.m. from us.
I know. Last time I just keep dragging you guys in when you guys are in bed, so I will try to start it a little bit like probably around this time, and then you guys are probably in the evening time, you know, time zone, and then it's the morning time. But I found it's kind of difficult for me to wake people up, so I need to give them the notice, you know, to start a game. But I will try to plan something together. But tomorrow we will have the JCI Europe Live, so we will talk about. Of course, I've invited some of my buddies from JCI Hong Kong, and they will pop into the JCI Live to talk about some of the updates and also some of the news from the World Congress in Hong Kong in November. And then as well as we invited a lot of countries from JCI Europe, so to talk about their project related to Ukraine. Because you know there's a war in Ukraine right now, and it's been like 2 months, and actually a lot of national organizations from Europe, like for example JCI Moldova, JCI Romania, JCI Poland, and also like like a lot of, you know, like those countries near Ukraine, they're actually doing a lot of work. I don't know if you guys noticed that, because we are like, I remember when I was in Asia, you probably like, you just know what's happening in Asia, you know, because the news, they might not really like talk too much about it. But right here in Europe, the JCI chapters, they're doing so much work, and they try to support the refugees crossing the border from Ukraine, and they do a lot of great projects. So we invited some of them, you know, like members to talk about their projects and how, as a JCI members, how we can help them as well. So like, just in case if you guys are looking for some kind of projects to try to support the Ukrainian refugees, like, I know it's kind of far away, like in Indonesia, probably you don't really see too many Ukrainian people running around. But right now in Ireland, we are actually hosting like more than 10,000 of them coming to Ireland. The government will give them some free housing, free money. We will put them somewhere to the shelter. So that is how supportive Euro really is. So like, we're going to invite some of the members to talk about the projects and all of that. And of course, some of the updates from the European conference. Don't know if you guys are going to come over. If you don't need a quarantine, might be, you know, might be good for you guys to try to, you know, like pop over to Belgium, because definitely we are going to do it in physical events, and the tickets is not too expensive. I would say for the ticket price right now is €450 for the ticket. But like, for example, for some of the members, if you're from JCI Hong Kong, of course you will have to quarantine, you know, for 7 days after you come back. I would say that is a good getaway, you know, because like in Europe, things are opening up right now, and like I already like traveled, like to a few countries, this year, for the first 4 months already. So don't be too jealous, but you guys can try to do it as well. Like I try to come. I really want to plan to come back to Hong Kong for a visit, this year, but I don't know when will be like the good time right now, because it's difficult to book the flight at the moment, if you know the story. So I was like looking at the flights and the quarantine hotel. It is just like, even though you can book your flights, and you probably cannot book your hotel if you have the availability for the hotel, and then probably like there's no flight flying in at that time. So it's pretty crazy. I don't know. I do hope that I can make it to World Congress as well, and then I can see all of you guys there.
Yeah, actually, we were thinking. Actually, I'm asking one of my friend who's has some ranks in the JCI to ask for, like, probably we can have some invitation letters that will be very helpful. Like, so it's easier when we go to Japan and we can show them the letter. Probably we just need some PCR tests to
Yes.
prove that we are clean and everything. So I think, yeah, maybe they are working hard on it. So
That's very good. That's very good. It's cool.
yeah. Yeah, it's been a while, right? I mean, JCI should have like having ASPAC and everything.
It's been on. So what's the story with the aspect this year from JCI Japan? Is it like it's all online, or?
Well, they're still actually negotiating, I think, with the government to see how, because like as accurate as the PCR test, probably they will still, some people who's not really like just infected, but it's not detected by PCR, and then probably will raise the case there.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I don't know, like there a lot of new variants keep coming in. That's crazy, right? So
Yeah, like I like it, just all the policy just keep changing all the time.
yeah.
Because like I saw it from the news like 2 days ago. They were saying that like if you are like non-residents, you are now allowed to go to Hong Kong now, but you still have to go through the quarantine for 7 days in a hotel and a 7